source energy. There is one source. And then that one energy has many manifestations. So you experience the creator in many ways, which in part is how the Bible does describe God, but its first introduction is not necessarily in that way, and you're not taught it in that way. You're not said, no one's ever said to me prior to 2020, God is this all unknowable energy that manifests in a multitude of ways. Sometimes this can manifest this way and that one. It was never explained to me that way. This made more sense to me. Like, okay, like in the shower this morning, I was thinking about protection and how we ask for God's protection. So we ask for God's love and we ask for God's protection. So what happens when someone tries to infringe upon our safety when we have asked God's protection? God loves us. You said and prayed, hey, protect me, look out for me and my children. And your expectation is if someone comes for you, God got smoke to give. Wrathful, like that's that wrathful, vengeful energy. God got smoke to give. Does that make, change who God is? No, God is still God. But now God has work to do, or God's gonna, for the most part, probably is like, tap somebody, like Michael or, or you sure, and send it mass like, hey, ancestors, like, hey, this version of me asks for protection. So I need you to handle that. So like either way, there's like an aspect, there's all of these various aspects that still are God. This is why everyone on the planet is experiencing expressing themselves in different ways. So in Kemet, God is the enter. This is one supreme deity. One. Let me, can you see that? One. Supreme. All. Even in the Bible says God, it's like God said, no other gods before me. Not that there are no other gods. It's just I'm first. It doesn't even say the other gods are bad. It literally only says, before you go to them, make sure you acknowledge me. So in Kemet, we have the enter and then the many manifestations. You've heard of them: Isis or Osset, Asir or Osiris. I wish I could make his actual name. Tahuti or Thoth. Ra. Like you heard of all of them before, and you're just thinking they're all each a separate entity. They are all one with enter and the various manifestations that the supreme deity will show up in your life, in your being, in nature, around the cosmos. These are expressions of that supreme deity's energy. This is also reflective in E5. We have Olodumare, who is the supreme creator deity. And depending on which lineage you're in, Olodumare is a feminine energy. It's mother, birthing creation into this world. And then you have the consciousness of that energy within nature, which is the Orishas. So these, again, are manifestations of that supreme energy found all around us and thus inside of us. In Dahomey, you have Nana, who is the supreme divine mother, nurturing, protective, but also one of the most feared deities. So again, all of these different aspects. Is it Hinduism? So you have Brahma, who is the supreme, and then you have the other ones like that are basically aspects of that energy. Okay, hold on, because I had it pulled up, and I don't want to say it wrong, but I want to say I had. There it is. There it is. So yeah, Vishnu, Shiva, and I want to say there's one more. It's three. And Devi, yes, the Divine Mother. So again, one supreme, then multiple aspects of that supreme energy. And even those aspects have their own aspects. So again, limitless manifestations of the energy of the supreme deity. But if you are limited in your perception of who and what God is, you could only see God in this one way, in this one construct, it is going to limit how, one, you experience God in the world, because you're not going to see God in everything. You only are seeing God in this one way. Indigenous and traditional practices see God in everything. This is why they give veneration to the sun. This is why they give veneration to the moon. They're not separate from God. They are God. They are physical bodies that are still God, just like we are. If you realize the limitless nature of God, you understand why it's so hard to learn yourself. And that was the other thing I was thinking about in the shower. It's like every day I learn something new about me, whether it is something in my shadow, whether it is something in my light, whether it is a new gift, a new skill. Every day I learn something new about me. Every day I learn something new about somebody in my life. The ability to know everything, absolutely every single solitary nuance of you, even you, is almost impossible. You can get every numerology chart, every birth chart, and it would take you a lifetime to go through it all. It'll take you a lifetime. This is why these types of readings cost money. It costs a lot of money. Even a basic reading takes so much time because the level of detail and the volume of information that you receive is so, like, it's so hard to put a money, like, how do you put a value on seeing how God is expressing through you? Because that's what it is. When you look at your birth chart, when you look at your numerology chart, when you get an E5 divination, this is how God's expressing your journey, your life, your destiny through you. And it's limitless. It's ever evolving. It's ever changing. This is why things like manifestation, prayer, magic, these are all the same thing. They're handled in different ways. Still, if you're praying, you're asking for something. If you're manifesting, the difference between a prayer and a manifestation is word choice. Prayer, please do such and such a thing for me. Manifestation, thank you for doing such and such a thing for me. The only difference is the manifestation says, I already have it. It's still a prayer. It's still a prayer, but it's not simply a prayer that says, I don't have this already. It is a prayer that says, I already have it. Add into that, say you're praying, manifesting, and then you give